let's talk about socializers now. We've talked about player types, let's have a little look at some of them in more detail. As I said, socializers are looking for relatedness. They are looking for connections to other people, family, friends. And that's kind of a really intrinsic need to almost every human being to feel that they are needed within a society. All the best gamified systems I have come across and all the best games that I've really enjoyed for long periods of time have involved relatedness. Now think about it for a second. Single player games are very popular, no two ways about it. But if you take one of my favourite games, Batman Arkham Asylum, when you finish the single player campaign and then maybe played through again to collect a few more achievements, that's pretty much it. It's done, and then they have to release a new one. If you look at a game like World of Warcraft, which has been around for years and years and years now, it's not a single player experience. The experience hasn't changed all that much over the years, but what does change is the fact that people are involved, and people make the game different every single time. And the relationships people make become very, very important. Some of my best friends in the world have been introduced to me through multiplayer gaming. And that is a really powerful thing to have in mind when you're thinking about the social aspects of any gamified system. If you look at World of Warcraft again, you know, it's a social network with axes. People still play MUD that was developed in the 80s because they have very close relationships with people within the system, and whilst they enjoy playing the game, they're there to talk to people. So relatedness becomes very, very important for a good system. And there are a few simple mechanics that I use and have used and talk about when it comes to encouraging socializers to be part of the system. Now the first one is fairly obvious, teams. If you want people to work together, put them in teams and guilds, because that way you have kind of a network pre-created for you. Doesn't necessarily mean that people have to stay within that network forever, but teams become important, especially within enterprises. They become very important when you consider competition. Now, competition is good and bad. On an individual basis, it can be very, very bad and very demotivating. But actually with teams, it can be quite fun because you have the social connectedness of working with your team, and you have that little bit of extra sort of buzz around the competition of playing against another team. If you're doing this in the enterprise, though, you have to make sure that whatever competition you're running, if it's trying to generate content of some description, that everyone has access to that content at the end of the competition. And don't pit teams against each other for too long, because collaboration, another mechanic, is actually a lot more useful to you. You know, within a social environment, especially, collaboration is going to lead to much better results in the long run. But competition doesn't hurt with teams. Social networks. Obvious, really, you know, you want people to connect and talk to each other, you need to have some way of doing it. So Yammer or whatever it might be, Slack. These things help people connect to each other, so become very important in enterprise and in your gamified systems. Social status. Now this is mildly extrinsic, but you know, because to show social status, you tend to have to show some kind of external way. There's got to be some kind of external way, and that tends to be things like leaderboards or points and awards and things like that. But social status becomes very important in communities because really we all want to feel that what we do is respected, is valued by people. So keep in mind that whilst it may seem extrinsic, actually the emotion behind social status is very intrinsic. Social discovery. So once you've got your social network, you need a way of finding people, of matching people. Think Match.com or anything like that, where profiles are used to match users together. Well, you can do that within an enterprise. Common interests can link people together. Leaderboards, they can be used as a social discovery tool. Take out the numbers and what you have is a board full of people who are all motivated and enjoy the same things. So, if you're on the leaderboard for being really good at Call of Duty, obviously you're into Call of Duty, so other people on that leaderboard might well like Call of Duty. So there might be a commonality there that can make you friends, and that's how I met some of my friends, competing against them and finding them on leaderboards. So that discovery is very important. And then pressure. Now, pressure sounds a bit negative, but feeling that other people are doing better than you can sometimes encourage you to push yourself a bit. You got to be very, very, very careful about that, because fear of missing out, which is kind of what it is, can be very negative. But you think about iPhone, lots of people bought an iPhone because they felt that they were missing out on something that their friends had. There was a social pressure to have the latest, coolest gadget. Pokemon Go really sort of pushed the social pressure. Everyone was playing it, so you kind of felt you had to play it, whether it was good or bad. So it's good, but it can be quite negative. So you got to balance it a little bit with not making people feel that they are less than other people because they aren't involved, but using a little bit of friendly peer pressure just to say, oh, it's good fun, you can join in. But definitely not the, oh, we're all smoking, you should smoke. That's negative and bad, and stay away and watch my ethics video. So there's 6 mechanics that help with socializers. Next up on the list, we're going to look at the free spirits.